All right. Good evening. My name is Farid Ali, and I'm going to present my application assignment 2. So this is like my fourth attempt of doing this. I had a pretty good one last time, but I realized when I was sharing my screen, I only shared my Chrome screen. So when I was going through my actual user interface, my GUI, it was only looking at just this Chrome screen. So I have to redo this, and I'm just going to go really quickly over it. Um, so first thing I'm gonna do is show that I could clone my repo from GitHub, and that it works from there. So let's call new folder, let's say demo3, and open up git bash. So code copy git clone insert. All right. So here it is. I'll just open up the build Gradle. Just projects. All right, so this is my project. First thing I'm gonna do is go over the test. So I have two classes that I test. First one's check info. So this basically validates all the information that the user enters for the items to make sure that they are per the requirements uh, structure-wise. So first thing you do is check the name. So this one's going to fail because you're allowed you're not allowed to have one letter. It's between 2 and 256 characters inclusive. So this one's going to fail, and this is going to pass. Three characters is fine. Check value. This one's going to fail. You can't have negative money in this inventory. This one's going to pass. This is fine. Check serial number. So this serial number is going to pass. This one's going to fail because the zero index of the string, it must be a letter, and this is a digit, so this is going to fail. So check. So this is the controller tester. So searching the list, given this list, and you use the search term G, there's no G anywhere in the serial number or name. So this is gonna not return anything. So this is gonna pass. Searching serial number again, you have the letter H. There's no letter H in the serial number or name. So this is gonna pass fine. Sorting the name. So given this list and you sort it, you assert that AAA will be first because if you're sorting it alphabetically, it'll be in the zero index. So this should work. Same thing with the serial number. Letter A, so it should be in the index 0. Sort value, same thing. You have the number 1, should be in index 0. Clearing the list, given this list and you call the clear function, the size of the list after you call the clear function will be 0, so this should pass. If you remove one item, so this is what this does. So given that you remove an item from index 2, so if you move this, the size of it will be 3 minus 1, which is 2. So this should pass. So running the tests, all 10 pass. So now go into the actual code. Quickly going over the code. Let me just go over the plant UML diagram as well, quickly. So this is what it looks like. So the entryway is the inventory management application class. It sets the scene and it sends all the information to the inventory management controller. And this is what actually, if I just run the program quickly. So this class basically is the brains behind what each of these functions do, or each of these buttons and text fields and tables do. So this basically manipulates an item class, all the item classes. So this basically manipulates all the information about items. And you also have to check the info. So you check the info, you check the name, the value, and the serial number of all the items that are being manipulated in the controller. So that's the basic layout. So quickly going over the code very quickly. So you have the initialize function, which basically allows the user to edit the name. So you could edit the name, you could edit the value, and you could edit the serial number. These are accessory functions for the add item button. So when it's clicked, you call create item. Create item basically goes through all the items in the inventory, and if the serial number is present, you tell the user. And if the item's already there, you tell the user. If there's no copy, then you go over to the add item display function. And this basically checks, it validates the serial number, the name, and the value. And if that passes, then you add the item to the inventory. And this takes advantage of the check info class. And this basically checks the name. So the name must be between 2 and 256 characters inclusive. Check value has to be greater than 0. Check serial number basically checks the correct dashes and whether or not the letters and numbers are in the right place. So once that's validated, you add the item to the inventory. And to add that inventory, you just pass the parameters to an item object, and you add the item to the list. And then you display it. So you display it in the table view, and you update the index. Next is loading. So given that you have 3 different file types that you could load information from, a TSV file, JSON, and HTML. So this basically goes through and loops and gains all the information from the files and calls the add item display function that was previously mentioned to add all the items to the list. I am having problems with the JSON part. I tried to use JSON objects and passing those objects to the values, but it could also be a JSON array, I believe is what it's called. I'm not too sure, but basically there's a problem where the casting, where basically you can't really turn a JSON object into a string and pass that to here. So I apparently don't have a way to fix that. HTML fine. HTML works fine. Removing all the items, you basically clear the entire list of items. You clear the table view and you reset the index to 0 and you clear the text fields. Remove items, if an item is selected, so if it's selected, you move the item from the list and you decrease the index of the table view. Saving inventory. So basically given 3 different file types, text, JSON, and HTML. you basically write all the information. For TSV file, it's separated by tabs. So you separate it by tabs. JSON file, you use Google's JSON, and you use a JSON object to write what's on the list of the file. And then HTML, you have the heady, the header, and what's on the bottom. And you basically just go through separating the table rows, so different rows and different rows with that. And yeah, so searching the item next, you call the search list function. And this basically uses a filtered list, and it basically goes through each index of all the items, and it returns a sorted list based on what the filtered list received from the table view, and it displays that sorted list. So running the program. So this is what the program looks like. I went for simplicity, and it's more or less the same design for the first app that I developed. So it's simple, but it works. It gets the job done. So up top is where you add the items. Here is table view. So all the items in your inventory will be displayed here. Right here is a status bar that will update based on what you do. And then these are the accessory buttons to do whatever they say. And this is the searching. So you click search and then you enter information, then it searches from there. So going to what it's capable of. So adding, I could add a item added successfully. Yeah, okay. So you guys still see my screen. Right. So that works. Displaying the error message. So let's say I enter just one letter, which is not allowed. So enter an invalid name. Let's say I entered this, which is incorrect. Enter invalid value. So let's say I entered a serial number that's already there. Serial number's already on the list. So those don't work. So if you change it, it works. So removing a single item. So if I want to remove this, for example, click remove item. And then this is the only item that's left. So I just click remove all items, and there's no content in the table anymore. So editing. So if I if I run it back again. So let's say I rename it to Dribble B. That's updated. Item value, let's say I give it 20. Say I give this B, it's updated. Say if I give it just letter A, name's not updated. If I give it negative, it's not updated. And if I give it, it's not updated. So it gives errors based on if you incorrectly enter information while you're editing. So there's that. So sorting. So sorting, if I add, say, I'm just adding one more. So give it a. Okay, so here it is. So I could sort by item name. So that works. Item value. That works. And sorting by serial number works as well. So searching. So first you click the search button. And let's say um, so let's say I look for Z is not part of the list. So let's say I look up A. These two show up because A is in the serial number. So it searches all of them at once. So A is in the serial number right here. And it's also in the item name. So let's say I open up C. C is the only one that has all of those. And then for B, and then for something random, doesn't show. So saving this list, I could save it as all three types. Demo text.txt. Demo json.json. Okay, so the lists are here. So this is what the text look like. JSON looks like. So JSON comes up pretty nice. And then the HTML, something simple, nothing too crazy. So let's say I want to load them now. So run the application. Load inventory. So desktop, say JSON is the one I'm having problems with. So I'll go first with text. So TSV file works fine. No items. Oh, one thing I should show actually. If you load a file, it'll automatically delete what's in the list already. So if I load back well, I showed you the text. If I show you the HTML, whoops, that's the wrong HTML. Demo HTML. I actually didn't show you, so hold on, that's my fault. So given this and load demo HTML, it deletes it and it displays them. So there's that. The only thing that doesn't work is the JSON. So I'm not able to load the JSON, and you can see the error here. So basically, when I'm trying to cast this JSON object into a string, and it's not allowing me to. So that's the problem that I have. But other than that, I think that is, I think that's pretty much, let me see. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. What I've learned in this course. So one of the main things I've learned in this course is object-oriented programming. Like before, a little background is I'm a mechanical engineering major. I'm not a CS major. I'm getting a minor in CS because I am bad at coding and I want to get better. So figure out might as well just take additional classes. It's better than self-learning. Um, self-learning by myself with no further instruction. So I recognize the importance of object-oriented programming now. Taking CS1 right now. So my previous programming was C, and C is not object-oriented. This is. So I could see the capabilities that object-oriented programming and Java have in general over C, and why many people use this over C. So I learned the importance of object-oriented programming and another thing, just general thing, is the importance of like self-teaching and self-learning. Uh, the class is structured in such a way that if you don't read the textbook, you're not going to do well in the class. So it's a given that you have to read and you have to apply these concepts by yourself. So I appreciate that because that's how it is in the real world. And I think that's pretty much it. Yeah, that's pretty much it. All right. Thank you very much for watching my presentation. Have a good one.